Mohamed Salah is one of the greatest players in Premier League history, breaking record after record, winning trophy after trophy during his time at Liverpool, racking up 405 appearances for the Reds, scoring 246 goals in the process, as well as racking up 111 assists, establishing himself as one of the greatest right wingers in top flight English football history, taking part in 2 Premier League title winning teams, a Champions League winning campaign, and establishing himself as an all-time Reds legend. I'm saying all this just to reinforce the idea of just how important Salah's been during his near decade stint at the club, and that despite all these records broken and all these trophies won, he isn't going to be around forever. After signing his 2-year contract extension last season, many people viewed it as a crisis averter, but in actuality, all it does is buy us extra time to look at who will replace that right wing mantle when Mohamed Salah eventually departs Liverpool. And one name that keeps coming up time and time again and is continuously being linked for Liverpool, especially in recent weeks, is Bayern Munich winger and former Crystal Palace attacker Michael Olise, someone who any fan of the Bundesliga or Premier League will be familiar with. Since making the switch from Palace to Munich last summer, Michael Olise has established himself as one of the best attacking wingers in Europe, racking up 24 goals and 23 assists in 59 appearances for the Bavarian title-winning side, establishing himself as one of the best wingers across Europe's top 5 divisions statistically, and proving why he made the move to Bayern Munich last summer. And with all this in mind, it makes perfect sense as to why he would be the perfect right-wing replacement for Mohamed Salah. So today we're going to go beyond the Kop and look at why Michael Olise would be a dream signing for Liverpool in the summer of 2026. Make sure to get like and subscribe and leave your comments down below on Michael Olise. So first off, we need to look at how all this has come about. So following his on-again, off-again, on-again transfer to Bayern Munich, Nicholas Jackson has finally made the switch from Chelsea to Bayern Munich. However, it comes with a bit of a cost. Following the acquisition, multiple reports started breaking, saying that sporting director Max Eberl was only able to convince the Bayern hierarchy to sign Nicholas Jackson on the loan deal, which would be made permanent once certain criteria was met, with the premise of that it wouldn't cost the club anything, which doesn't make a lot of sense until you realize that he was saying next summer they will sell either one of Harry Kane or Michael Olise. Now, Kane would probably be the more obvious route to go. He is in his 30s. Maybe he'll start to show a decline in quality soon, whereas Michael Olise is 23 years old. But Olise has a higher price tag, and don't forget, it has to match the £70 million plus in order to break even. And if Bayern are willing to let Michael Olise leave next summer, it would be foolish of Liverpool not to throw their hat in the ring and try to convince him to join the Reds next summer. And with Liverpool now boasting the financial firepower and being more proactive than reactive in the transfer market, as we saw this summer just gone, it's clear that they need to seize this opportunity for someone who could be a long-term successor to Salah, not just a stopgap in between. Last season, under Vincent Kompany, Bayern Munich operated in a sort of 4-2-3-1 style formation, predominantly seeing the right winger occupying the attacking spaces on the right-hand side of the final third. But if you look at this heat map of Michael Olise here, you can see that the winger is no stranger to dropping back and occupying the halfway line, which is a clear opposite to what we see with Mohamed Salah last season, where he was told to stay forward and be a main outlet for the Reds. This is because Michael Olise is just as important in chance creation and build-up phase of attack as he is in the final product in front of goal, with his creative metrics of 3.47 key passes and 6.52 shot creating actions proving this, alongside the fact that he ranks in the top 90 percentile for dribbles and shots compared to all other right-sided wingers across Europe. So he's someone who's going to drop deep and support the build-up in an effort to create space for not just others, but for himself also. And this is something that Liverpool did for years with Mohamed Salah, with it only swaying towards Salah staying further forward on the pitch and contributing less to the defensive aspect of the game during Slot's first season. And while this did give him a record-breaking campaign in terms of goals and assists, there were moments towards the end of last campaign and even the start of this one where the winger has been left isolated because he's so trusted in the attacking third at all times. Defenders know they can man-mark Salah out the game in 2-on-1 situations because he isn't going to venture too deep and lose his man. This is something that Olise is not going to struggle with. Olise is a risk taker in possession, willing to take on a man and try to beat them in one-on-one situations, with him attempting 5.82 take-ons per match with a success rate of 47.7%. To put that into perspective, Mohamed Salah, who for a long time was trusted with that sort of role. The most he's attempted in the season was 4.18 during the 2018-19 campaign, which saw us lift the Champions League trophy. And Sadio Mane, a very similar type of player at the time, who was given the ball to beat a man easily, the most he's attempted in the season was during the 2020-21 season, where he recorded just 4.61. Not only that, but Michael Olise is a presser of the ball, and a high one at that, with him registering 15 high regains by December of 2024, which is when a player wins the ball back in and around the opponent's final third. One of these led to a shot within 20 seconds, but the majority of them were high regains, which is where a player wins the ball back within 5 seconds of his team losing the ball, which is something we've seen Pep Guardiola do numerous times during his career, particularly during his spell at Barcelona. Arne Slot has shown that he wants his attackers to press whenever there is space to work with, giving the opposition's defenders little time on the ball. And with Olise's defensive contribution, this would help massively. It's utilized to start Bayern's counter-attacks from threatening areas. So having the likes of Isak, Ekitike, Wirtz, Gakpo, and others around him would be massive for our attacking output. Having someone who can put this pressure on defenders and win the ball back high up the pitch with the amount of attacking players we've got would help us to no end. Now, if you need an example of Michael Olise's brilliant attacking quality, then look no further than this goal he scored against Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League last season. This passage of play demonstrates Olise's 1v1 talent on the ball, and crucially his talent and ability to create chances for himself against the settled back line, which he would see a lot of upon his return to the Premier League. Here, Olise picks up the ball on the edge of the final third when positioned between the left central midfielder and the left winger of Shakhtar, and from there, he's able to utilize his low center of gravity, agility, and fast reactions to burst in field when closed down. He's in a 2-on-1 situation where he's able to break the midfield line, setting himself up directly with the defense. And as soon as one of them makes any kind of move towards him in order to win the ball back, he has space to exploit, and that's exactly what he does. Sharply changing direction again, this time onto the right side and putting himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper, which of course only goes one way. Now, keep in mind that this is in the 92nd minute. They're 3-1 up, and most teams would pick the ball up in this area and look to sit deep and just see the game out. But Olise, with his brilliant attacking threat, sees a way to get through and score another goal for Bayern, putting the game more dead and buried than it already was. And keep in mind as well that the time between him picking up the ball in the center of the pitch and scoring the goal is 5 seconds. Another big strength of Olise is his ability for running the byline before cutting back to find a teammate in more space centrally, which under Arne Slot, we see time and time again. It's a massive part of the tactical game plan. Mohamed Salah does it, Gakpo does it, even Diaz did it at times during his spell at Liverpool under Arne Slot. Slot wants his wingers to play the system and find more space for more central players to run into. It's a big reason why we signed Florian Wirtz and why the first instinct of our wingers is to slow the play down and take a step back, looking for those inwards that they can pass the ball to. So McAllister thrived off it at points last season. So Boslai, Wirtz is going to get lots of opportunities for it. And with Ekitike being a deep playing sort of number 9, so to speak, he's going to get plenty of chances from this also. And while Olise is capable of doing this, he's also an incredible player for bursting into space in the center of the box with his penetrating carries, which are dribbles into the opposition's penalty area, producing 4.28 per 90 minutes last campaign, which is in the top 1% of wingers in the Bundesliga and the top 16% of wingers across Europe's top 5 divisions. He takes chances, but he does it with purpose. While his first protocol is to find cutbacks and crosses into the box, he's able to beat a man before squaring the ball across the 6-yard box to find our attackers. And keep in mind that it's not Nunez this time who's going to be feeding off it. It's going to be the likes of Alexander Isak and Ekitike, as I've already touched on. So there's going to be chances galore and plenty of goals scored from this. Against a deep back line, which Liverpool are probably going to play a lot of in the Premier League this season, Olise is perfect for this role, as evidenced by these photos in Bayern Munich's 3-1 win away against Augsburg last season. Here, Olise is receiving the ball from inside his own half on a counter-attack after winning the ball back himself. He has several Augsburg players pressing him, but as mentioned previously, because of his one-on-one skills, he's able to beat them no problem. He's got space inverted to run into, and straight away you can see how effective he is in these kind of situations. He's got limited space, but he still manages to pull off a pass. And this pass sets off Bayern Munich in an almost 3-on-1 attack with plenty of space to run into on the left-hand side. And if you notice here, Olise has 4 players around him. That's how much of a threat he is when he's got these gaps to work with. He's drew players away from the Bayern midfielders towards himself, and now they've got so much time and space to work with because of his hard work. Olise has showcased an elite playmaking and attacking mentality during his time at Bayern Munich, willing to break down defenses with those around him or those next to him, something which Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich has praised for doing time and time again, with them looking to assert physical superiority and the numerical advantage against Bundesliga opposition in an effort to attack consistently on goal. The likes of Sane and Olise are tasked with staying out wide and staying slightly further back as an outlet, so as soon as the likes of Muller or any other attacking player for Bayern wins the ball back, there's a player ready to go with space to run into, and it's normally Olise due to his pace and his ability to work the byline. He will receive the ball, can either cut back inside, or will find space to work with as the defenders scramble to try and get towards him in an effort to win the ball back as quick as possible. He has Premier League experience, title-winning experience, and alongside the likes of Sane, Kane, Muller, Goretzka, all these brilliant players for Bayern, he isn't being overshadowed, not just because of his goals and assists, but his overall skill set on and off the ball. He's a presser, someone who finds space for himself, but he's also capable in those tight situations, which Liverpool will face a lot of this season due to the now pressing nature of the majority of teams in the Premier League. Any deal with Bayern would be difficult to do, given the fact that they have to meet that £70 million mark. But Liverpool, as I mentioned earlier this summer, were proactive, not reactive. And we've shown that we've got money to work with. While we have just spent big and next summer may see us take a bit of time off, if the only player we sign is Michael Olise, it's not too much of a problem. We are starting to put contingency plans in place for when Van Dijk inevitably leaves. We've signed Leone, a young lad who can come in and fill the role when Van Dijk leaves, potentially. Guehi's been linked with a move to the club. We need to start doing the same on the right wing. And Michael Olise, 23 years old, title-winning experience at Bayern Munich, one of the best attackers in Europe last season, brilliant during his spell at Crystal Palace, would be the ideal replacement. If Bayern looking to sell, Liverpool need to be there or thereabouts. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you want Michael Olise? Would you be happy with signing Olise? How much would you be spending on him? And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.